Brought to you by stationhousecoffee.com and inspireddisorder.com/ting.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
The Five Bloods, new movie from Spike Lee, or I should say Spike Lee joint that dropped recently on Netflix. Spike Lee is a director that I have mixed feelings about, just as far as like his movies being entertaining, I should say. They all have an amazing style, very heavy generally. There's a lot of his movies that I do enjoy, like 25th Hour, Inside Man, The Black Klansman, probably my favorite. I think that came out last year, 2 years ago. Probably my favorite Spike Lee movie. It felt very much like a Coen Brothers film. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about The Five Bloods, and this is a tough movie. It's a tough movie. Vietnam, like four guys go back to Vietnam, reunited, and these are guys that served in the Vietnam War. The movie opens. The intro to this movie is just brutal. Just a lot of graphic clips of protests, of war, of murder. Just graphic. But very famous, like the picture of the guy being shot in the head out on the street in Vietnam. Like that still image is very popular, but you get to see the full uncut video of that, and it is tough to watch. But this movie, the tone of this movie is very tough. It's a long movie. It felt like viscerally it had a feeling of Apocalypse Now, which I'm not a fan of that movie. Where this one is very, very similar, kind of falling into the delusions of just having mental breaks. But these guys are going back to reclaim a treasure they found. Basically, they're going back and they're trying to find a way to extract this gold that they found on a mission back home. And they're all old. You got Delroy Lindo is amazing. Probably, I'm sure I've seen him in a ton of stuff, but this is probably a role he should be nominated for, if not win. Despite the fact that there are moments of this movie that I really didn't like, his performance was amazing. And it's weird how there's like a lot of black history in the beginning of this, setting up the movie, which I appreciated, especially in the times we're in where people are protesting out protesting Black Lives Matter because the murder of George Floyd. So it was a no-brainer to watch this. I mean, I will always give Spike Lee a chance, and I would love to go back and revisit some of his movies, like Bamboozled, I think is one of them. There's just movies of his that they tend to be more. It's almost like an art house style, where there's not as cohesive a story. I get lost. As parts of this, I wasn't necessarily lost, but it was just like there's things that are in this that they could have been taken out. I mean, it's such a long movie, and there are points in this movie. It breaks my heart to say there are points in this movie that it felt like I was watching a student film. The level of acting, the level of writing was just bad. And then there's just amazing scenes. I mean, it's tough. It's a very uneven movie, but I find that to be kind of a standard thing for Spike Lee with his movies, to have kind of I don't know if it's tonally, if it's unbalanced or whatever, but for me, this movie was very much like this. So they're going to reclaim this gold, and what Delroy Lindo's son joins them on their trip. He snuck over, so you get a little bit of youth with their group. But I enjoy it. I enjoy them as characters. The flashback scene is interesting. They use the old actors to portray themselves in Vietnam. You get a lot of aspect ratio shifts in this movie, going from widescreen to the more 4:3 square. And then there's just one where it transitions. It's like it's opening an eye, like the eyelids opening, and it does a lot of interesting stuff. with the editing and the kind of style shifts, which I appreciated. But there is some seriously bad acting. So they're on this trip. They're being led. They have the coordinates of where they stashed the gold, and they're out, and the beautiful shots too of Vietnam, modern day. You see all the neon signs of all the restaurants and things for like McDonald's, and they go to a bar that's like a big Budweiser bar, like Apocalypse Now in the background, and it's like it's such a weird mix of like corporate America in Vietnam. Like I'm sure there's a lot of places around the world that are like that the corporations just kind of infiltrated and started to take over. But it's definitely weird because usually movies from Vietnam, they're never showing those parts. Especially, I mean, if it's a war movie, for sure you're not seeing it because they didn't exist then. But it's just kind of a weird mix of modern and kind of a different time, basically. But so one of the things I have, just it's kind of like lazy writing. They're like on this walk, and there's starting to be some dissent and some conspiracy theories going around that it's all a scam, that the people that are going to help them transfer the money aren't doing it, and whatever. And one of the son goes to take a shit, and literally like goes down the hill, or he goes pretty far away onto a hill to take this shit. And while he's digging his poop hole, just randomly hits a gold brick, and they realize that they are in the right place because they've been walking around, they can't find the place, and they just randomly find the thing. Just, I mean, in a movie that's like has so many layers of like tone and just it's a hard movie to watch, especially the beginning intro with all the clips and stuff, and it's just his Delroy Lindo's character is dealing with PTSD, so that's stressful as a viewer watching it. And then there's a scene like this where they just randomly find the gold brick, and they realize that it's kind of been dispersed over this hillside. So they go looking for it, and then after that, like these bad actors that they found that they met in the bar the night before, they randomly run into them, and their whole job is to clear mines away. And there's a scene where a guy, I think it was right before they show up, maybe, I don't know, one of the groups, one of the Bloods, is saying something about the gold bar, I forget, and he's walking backwards, and the whole time he's walking backwards, all I could think of is there is going to be a scene involving a landmine. And of course, there's a scene that involves... Now, the scene that actually happened was way crazier than what I thought was going to happen, but nevertheless, it was pretty well... Like, you knew what was gonna. There's no way this guy is not. I mean, just the way he's walking backwards, if just knowing they're in Vietnam, in a place that used to be an active war zone, in a place that's also well known for a lot of landmines just still being deactivated, which that's what the group that they run into, these white kids from, I don't know, one of them's from Paris. I don't know if they're all from Paris, but their group goes out there to deactivate the mines. I don't know. There's also like the bad guy that's kind of that's supposedly supposed to help them move the money, but then like I don't know. Like there's maybe I missed part of this, but I don't know. He definitely is playing like a Donald Trump kind of. He represents in a lot of ways Donald. He literally looks like Donald Trump, puts on the MAGA hat and has a white suit on, and just kind of a rich, blundering idiot kind of a... Not really. I mean, it's just... I don't know. If he had a cat, he would pet it and laugh. But I don't know. The movie overall, it ends well. Thankfully, the movie wraps up. The very end of this movie, I think, wraps up in a way that at least makes you feel good, despite so much of this movie not like intentionally not making you feel good. You know, like it's intentional to feel bad watching this movie in a lot of ways. Just watching Delroy Lindo's character go. There's this monologue that he has. There's a couple monologues where he's just staring straight at the camera. And of course, no Spike Lee movie could be complete without people floating towards the camera. That moment in this movie is good. It's towards the end. But it's kind of there's like heartwarming moments too. I don't know. It was tough to watch. I don't really have a desire to ever watch it again, but I'm glad I did. And Spike Lee's one of those guys, one of those artists out there that's doing his thing. He doesn't give a shit. But if you're looking for a movie that's not as heavy by Spike Lee, I would definitely check out BlacKkKlansman. That's one of my top movies from, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. But be sure to check out and support our sponsors, of course, StationHouseCoffee.com and Station House Coffee on the Instagram for small batch, single origin, premium coffee brewed in Vermont and shipped directly to you. Get some high-quality coffee, support small business, and support the show by going to StationHouseCoffee.com and follow Station House Coffee on Instagram. Also, get $25 in credit with your new cell phone service over at Ting. Go to inspireddisorder.com/Ting. That's Ting. It's where you get $25 in credit for best coverage in the world. Same low rates, now with 3 coast-to-coast networks. I use Ting. I love it. My cell phone bill is minimal. It's so low, like $20-30 since this quarantine started. So you can get basically a month of service if you're living my life when you go sign up now over at inspireddisorder.com/Ting. That's Ting for $25 credit. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy new merch over at inspireddisorder.com. Follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!